this. I feel like there's maybe like only 5, 6 centers in the NBA that like come finals time are actually playable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
feel
the
like
way
it's
the
wild.
league moved in, the direction that they moved in. Positionless basketball kind of ironically started with the Warriors with Draymond kind of playing that 5 role for a while on those teams where they would go Iguodala as the 4 and then Draymond as the 5 and kind of have KD as a 3, which is really a 4. But they would have these wings and they kind of invented the 3-and-D wing thing in the NBA too, and it's just kind of accelerated. And it's just kind of ironic that we're talking about that now with the Warriors coming in and winning this championship years later, removed from this all happened. Now the league's it's a copycat league. They'll repeat kind of the same things that happen. And I think you're 100% right. I mean, Robert Williams, we were talking about it in our text, our group chat, but is one of the 10 best centers easily in the league right now. And, could do a lot of things from a shot blocking perspective, even just like contesting shots. If you get switched off onto him, a guard can't necessarily always beat him off the dribble. He can swat it into the seats and he does a lot of good things, but even he at times sometimes doesn't look playable because he just adds nothing, when it comes to scoring on offense. So it's 100% a good point.
Yeah, I mean, Jokey, I'm curious if you agree with this, but like I'd say under any circumstance, there's only like 4 centers that are like playable under all circumstances. I think you play Jokic, Embiid, Bam, and Cat, and I think those are the only guys that are on the floor regardless.
Yeah, that was gonna be my point. Like when I was trying to name off because you said Rob Williams, he might be top 5 next year. I was trying to like think of the top 5 right now. I was like kind of struggling. Obviously, the big 3, Gobert. I mean, top 4, and then Cat. But yeah, Rob Williams, he's gonna.
Dwight Howard.
He was injured too. Wait, what'd you say now?
Dwight Howard.
He was injured too, and I thought he played. I mean, he struggled a little bit on offense, but I mean, he's a beast defensively. And one of my friends, he always makes fun of Sixers and stuff, and he always talks about how he doesn't think you can win in the NBA today with a big man as your best player, and it's a fair take because I think in order for like the Sixers to win or like the Nuggets to win, you have to surround them, Jokic and Embiid, with like a fantastic team, great shooters, guys who can like score from the perimeter. And I mean, those 2 teams haven't done it yet. But what do you think about that?
I think you can make it work. Like, I think like the Sixers and Nuggets could make it work because I think the Warriors do something similar where they have like a guy who's not a wing is their best player in Curry. But like, I think you need like 2 really good wings that can guard. But at this point, you pretty much need 3 wings that can guard because you're probably going to play your wings 2 through 4. And then you also kind of need like a bench like type of wing. And like, I think that's what the Celtics really missed in the series is when you put Brown or Tatum on the bench, your wing player that you're bringing in is Grant Williams. So like, It's not a great wing to bring in the game versus like, I thought Otto Porter played great throughout the whole series. I don't even know if he missed like at all. I swear he always hit the corner 3.
He played his role.
Yeah, like those guys like Draymond, Clay, Wiggins, Otto Porter, Gary Payton's a smaller guy, but he basically was playing like a wing. And it's like even Jordan Poole to an extent, like there's just an arsenal of guys. And I feel like at this point in the league, you just need 4 or 5 of those guys on the wing that like either play good defense or can get a bucket.
Dude.
Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
I'll just go real quick. On the point of Gary Payton, I got to say one thing about him. There's one play I think he made, it was this series, I think early on, that stuck out to me. He got the ball wide open. Steph was coming around. He dropped it for him, like set that like kind of moving pick, and then Steph hit a 3 from there. That like perfectly sums up like those role players. They just did their job. And as you said, Otto Porter just stood in the corner. When he got the ball, he shot it. He was open. He made his shots. But dude, I mean, you can't. Obviously, Steph is just insane, and you can't say enough about him. But the Warriors just surround him for the past 8 years, with amazing talent. We're just players who know how to do their job.
Going back to the point with that joke made with centers being your best player, I think you guys outlined it really well. I think the two things that you need to win a title, and I kind of disagree with your friend. I think you can win with Jokic or Embiid being your the best player on the team, because I think they're two of the top 5 best players in the league. And I'll say Giannis for the Bucks is essentially a center. I mean, he's kind of a point center, where he's a power forward, he's bringing the ball up, but it's the same size effectively. He's getting most of his points in the paint. I don't really think that is it. Some of the traditional fans wanted to see a guy who was a bag, who could score in the mid range, it could do all the things like aka Jason Tatum could do, and he ironically didn't win it. But I think going back to what I was initially going to say, you need one, Joker, you mentioned a power forward that you can kind of play around them. I think that's huge. I mean, Draymond does it with the Warriors, and it's not, obviously comparison to the situation we're talking about, but a power forward that is willing to do the dirty work, who, even if he's undersized, will distribute, will be able to run offense, at the top of the key, will be able to hit that corner 3. Those are things that are really important in today's game. As a Heat fan, I see that with PJ Tucker a lot, and I think a player like him, it doesn't necessarily have to be PJ Tucker, but he's one of those guys that fits into the role. Like, okay, he can be a power forward next to a really good center and make that work. And also, you need a guard to be able to run pick and roll too. I mean, I think that was a huge thing with Harden. Why the Sixers wanted to acquire him is they think like, okay, if Harden's got that burst and that first step and still has the ability to hit that step back and stuff, and facilitates other guys, they're going to be able to run pick and roll against teams and just pick and roll them to death pretty much with those two. And even the Lakers did it in the bubble with AD a lot too. And the ability to have a guard who could do that. And I think Rondo was doing it for him back then, which is kind of weird to think about. But I think you need a guard you can run pick and roll with, and I think you need a power forward who can do the dirty work next to centers. I think you can win that way.